Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What is going on, my friends? You already know the vibes. Let me make sure I'm up here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's going on, my friends? You already know the vibes. It is your boy, John Quick of the Talk That Lingo crew. But we absolutely talk that lingo very fast. And like I always say, it is harder to keep money than to get it. My brother Talib Bands will be joining us very shortly. We got a couple of updates for y'all here. You already know the vibes, man. A lot going on. So I had a lot going on, man, the last week and a half, but definitely within the last 6 days, I had a lot going on. Your boy graduated. College graduate. I was already a college graduate. Then I just graduated college again. You know what I'm saying? So I like overdid it. I overachieved apparently. Then also my birthday was yesterday. We were going to do a show yesterday for the birthday, but you know, crazy things happening. And you know, my brother Paul, what's going on, my brother? Absolutely good evening. Hopefully you are having a beautiful evening with your beautiful family. Yeah, man, we got a lot to get into, man. First and foremost, I want to come on here and address this appropriately. Luka Doncic is absolutely a problem. He is a force to be reckoned with. That is for sure. What a crazy series between the Suns and the Dallas Mavericks. Y'all know the Suns were probably the number one overall seed the entire season. Fast forward to the playoffs, they're going against Luka Doncic and the Mavs. Luka had more points than Devin Booker in this entire series. Luka had more rebounds than Ayton in this entire series. Luka had more assists than CP3 in this series, and he had more steals than the candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. Luka is a problem. Luka is absolutely a problem. Looks like my guy Talib Bands has joined us. What's up, my brother? How you doing, my brother? How is everything going for you, my dog?
Hey man, what's good, family? How you doing? Hey, we
Sir, I'm
actually over
beautiful.
here. What we got the game on the TV.
Oh yeah, are y'all watching the game already?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I see.
You see
Who you got in that
Boston.
series? Who you got?
I mean, yeah, I got Boston. I'm fucking with Boston
You
right
got
now. Tatum is walling.
Yeah, man. Listen, Boston is serious. It's so funny that you bring up Boston. I want to bring up Boston later on in the show. But real quick, let me know how many games you think this Heat and Celtics series is gonna go.
To be honest, I'm gonna have to leave this up to the basketball gods themselves.
My man said the Heats. He said the Heats. He said the Heats.
I'm gonna have to leave it up to the basketball gods themselves because it's crazy. Like it's first of all, if anyone who watches basketball is like my brother Chad said, it would look like an easy sweep for the Golden State Warriors because they ain't got to worry about nobody.
Okay.
But then
I
again, you
wouldn't
don't want
go
to
that
take
far.
anything away. You don't want to take anything away from any one of the other teams because an upset can happen, and an upset usually keeps people upset. That's all I'm saying.
That's a fact. Let me say this. Let me jump in here at this. Look, If you are in here, drop us a like. It is your boy John Quick with my brother Talib Benz of the Talk That Lingo crew. We absolutely talk that lingo very fast. If you are in here, drop us a like. Listen, your boy turned 30 years old yesterday.
Yo,
Feeling
happy
free.
fucking birthday again, man. Yo, and when I'm out there next week and we shooting, you know, I'm out. I gotta celebrate with you.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure, for
You
sure.
know what
You
I
are
mean?
listen. It's a must. Let me ask you this, my brother. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If you were 20 years old today, right?
Right.
What would you do differently in your life if you could take 10 seconds to just tell me what you would do differently from
To
what
be
you've done?
honest, everything that I've done in my life has actually led me to where I'm at right now.
Okay.
And I'm gonna
Perfect.
say this, and I'm gonna say this in response to no matter how big that you see yourself in life, don't shit on the fast food jobs or the retail jobs. You know why?
Why is
Because
that?
I actually met a brother that allowed me to meet the brother that you see next to me, the host that does the most.
Yes, sir.
You feel me?
Yes,
The
sir.
the man that tells you about the crypto and the money that's in between that you need to get to make sure you understand your dreams.
Yes, sir. That's right.
So if I didn't do everything that I've done, if I didn't apply to the jobs that I did, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. So I couldn't change anything because
Mm,
where I'm at and what I believe in, my determination and what we know, we going to the next level.
I hear that.
So I couldn't change anything. I wouldn't change anything. I shan't with a T at the end.
All right, let me ask you
Change
this.
anything. Yo,
Let me ask
Hunnit
you this.
K and Doors Sons is up. Holla at your boy. Make sure you click
Yes,
the link
sir.
on my bio, which have really red X.
Oh yeah, let me get my man Instagram handle showing at the bottom. But
Man,
let me
yeah,
ask you
man.
this.
Throw that up there. Make sure y'all click that link, man. Make sure
Yes,
y'all
sir.
share that. It's all love. I
Let
don't
me ask
want
you
none of
this.
y'all money yet. I just want y'all to share that.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. If you were to give somebody advice, right? That's 20 years old. At the age of 20, let's say you had a younger brother, younger cousin, they're 20 years old.
Mhm.
What advice would you give them right now today?
Right now, today, I tell them that make sure you have friends that see past the block.
Mm,
Make
that's
sure
huge.
you have friends that see past the neighborhood. Make sure
Mm,
you have friends that want to do something with themselves. Make sure you have friends that have ideas. Make sure you have friends that have dreams. Make sure you have friends around you that support. Make sure you don't have people around you that hate. Make sure you understand that there are people that use you for who you are and won't appreciate you for what you are and will only use you for what they need you for. So you need to really know to weed motherfuckers out. And I hope the world see the shoulders and the bob and the weave because that's exactly what you need to do to make sure the path that you on is solidified and lit to the highest
right.
degree. Because these young folks that get lost in emotions because there isn't enough guidance.
Mm,
And I understand that. And people say, damn, why do you understand that? I understand that because there isn't a manual to this thing that we call life. There is no
mm,
manual. There are people that don't have good mothers and good fathers and good inspirations, and let alone a manual. And now they're lost. But you mad at
mm.
them for being lost. But you mad at if you have all five things. How do you understand? Take a second. So for the strong ones that make it through without having all of it, I salute you. I
No,
say
for
stay
sure.
strong. I say stay vigilant.
Hmm. No, I hear that. I hear
Stay
that.
dreaming, stay successful, stay doing, because that's what's necessary. That's what's necessary. And that's it, man. That's 100K. That's what's necessary. And that's the lingo. That's the futuristic lingo. That's what's necessary.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Let me also ask you this. I'm gonna ask you this. What is the importance? What is the importance of understanding the way your money comes in and the way you spend your money? What is the importance?
The importance of that is understanding. All right. So I get when you're living for yourself, when
Okay.
you have no responsibility to anyone. You understand? You done had a good life growing up as a kid, and you don't have a wife, no kids, and all your money is just for you.
Yeah.
No one else. I get that. But the responsibility, and I say this as a fact, the responsibility of spending money and knowing what you do comes in when what you're spending
Yeah.
and making, right, set
Yeah.
alone versus with your second avenue of income. So now, are you paying your rent with your main income, or are you paying it with your second stream of income, or are you, hold up, this is going to blow your minds, are you
Mm-hmm.
paying it with your third stream of income?
Mm.
Now that third stream of income take cares of rent, it take cares of the kids going to school, and it take cares of your wife. That second income makes sure those trips that y'all like to put up on Instagram is taken care of in the way that it needs to be taken care of. And that first income is being put in a savings account for you and your wife and the kids because it is building interest. And that's the importance and the difference of spending and income
Yeah. Let me
appropriately.
let, let me ask you this. Are are okay. So I'm not gonna ask you about your personal expenses, or your personal finances. I want to ask you this. Do you see people out here becoming more financially aware? And when I say people becoming, I mean in the black community. Is that
Yes,
something? Is
yes,
that
that's
something
an
that's
absolute yes. That's an absolute yes. You know why that's an
tell
absolute
me why?
yes?
Tell
Because
me
we
why.
have more access. We don't have to
Okay.
ask for access. We don't need your permission anymore. We don't need your books because it's there. There's a YouTube tutorial. Matter of fact, there are black people talking about it. There's a black group talking about it. Matter of fact, there's a black group that invite me to want to talk about black excellence, black money, black finance, and everything black and money. So you know what? Of course, there's a difference now because there is more access, there is more freedom, and we want it more. We need it more. We see it more. We understand that when black people thread a needle together and when we are structured together, what we can do. We understand that Oklahoma Tesla, that wasn't just a fluke, that wasn't just a dream. What happened to it was hate, but it can be rebuilt again through the ashes. The phoenix shall rise, and that black phoenix shall look upon the black beautiful kids and the minorities of this world, and it's going to show that, guess what, young beautiful world, y'all could be everything y'all want to be. Don't look at the hate and everything that is killing y'all.
Martin Luther King Jr., y'all. Let's hear for Martin
Come
Luther
on
King
now.
Jr.
Come on now, that's all
That
we
boy
can
on a
aspire,
roll.
and the words that we can, that's all we want to give this universe. That is all the frequency that I'm on, the frequency that I love to give, and the only frequency I want this world to understand is that, look, I love you, you love you, and if anyone said anything different, they're wrong about you. Remember, you love you already.
Yo, let me
Money is
tell you.
going to be money. The world is going to be the world. And if you want to be great, then make sure you being great and make sure you're around people that be great, because guess what? Greatness recognizes greatness, and we don't discriminate. If you got $1 billion idea, I don't care if your nose is on your forehead, you got $1 billion idea and we about to make $1 billion. They might remove your nose from your forehead and put it on your face. But I feel like your nose being on your forehead gave you that $1 billion idea. So I need your nose to be there again to get a $2 billion idea. Stop playing with me. I'm talking to you people. You understand? You need to love yourself for you, because the way that you came on this world is the way that you need to be.
Listen, my brother, let me tell you something right now. We gonna have to change.
I got a ladder in the back of me because we going up.
No, I feel that, but I want to let you know, man, we might have to change your nickname from Talib Bands to Affirmative Action. I'm just
affirmative action.
We just go ahead. But let me shift to this. Why did the first of all, I want to say something. You did mention Tulsa, Oklahoma. I believe you were referring to Black Wall Street, and then they came through and they burned it all down. I do want to let people know out there that there are still roughly 7 to 9 predominantly Black neighborhoods and communities that are just like Black Wall Street in Oklahoma today, that still live on today. So there is some level of there is some level of, you know, people are presence. There's a certain level of presence that people are representing there in Oklahoma. So it's not necessarily as big as the Black Wall Street, but there's certainly some level of presence there. But I want to shift to this, right? What happened in Buffalo with the shooting?
You know what? What happened in Buffalo with the shooting? First and foremost, I would like to extend my heart and I would like to extend my condolences, because not only did we lose grandmothers and grandfathers, we lost history. We lost history. What has also been shown in America for years and years and years, and then what has continued to be ignored, is that white supremacy, I'm not saying all white people, but white supremacy and what people believe to be a highly sought out, quote unquote, race and deemed whatever the fuck they want to believe.
Okay.
This is what America fucking gets for the ignorance that they continue to show. You guys like to hand out RICO cases in Black neighborhoods because people are quote unquote, oh, I threw something up, I done took a photo with such and such. But guess what, America? The reason why your ass don't like taking accountability is because it's the judges that's also a part of the Klan. It's the police department that's a part of the Klan. It's the lawyers that's a part of the Klan. And you know what? When we uncover that shit, everything gets unfucking raveled. And that's why these white boys is going to make sure it looks okay to do it, because the way y'all demonize and the way that y'all unravel and make sure, oh, this person was this and this person, everyone went through some shit, but fucking COVID. I'm not out there fucking shooting shit up. My brothers ain't out here shooting shit up. But guess what? These white people can get away with whatever the fuck they seem to get. And it's sick. And it's sick. Because if I walked up with that, I can't have that excuse. But they can. But they can. And the sick part is, Joe Biden, I'm talking to you. If this white boy get off on your fucking watch, that is all I'm saying. Yeah, that is, yo, the Democratic Party, whatever, yo, it is nothing but bullshit after bullshit after bullshit after bullshit with the Democratic Party. Niggas is sick and tired of y'all. We need a new party. I'm just tired of we don't need a Republican or a Democratic Party. We don't need none of that shit. I'm tired of all these old people and all these old ass laws. This old way of thinking is going to keep these white boys with these, yeah. Remember that, America. This old way of thinking, it's not about laws or what you, or gun reform because they can print guns. This old way of American thinking is going to keep these white boys shooting at these black families. So I hope all you politicians keep thinking, because the second it really hits that way and the second they hit some fucking kids, we at your fucking door. And that's serious. That's very fucking serious. That is very serious, because it's always black families. It's always black families. And y'all don't give a shit about it. I'm tired. I am tired. Whoever's at the politician table right now, yeah, y'all are over right now. It's sick. Whatever that judge, whatever y'all did for that judge, if y'all don't send this little white boy under the table, if he gets off, America, y'all got something to worry about if this Russia situation hit over here, let alone a segregation or a civil rights fucking situation happen over here, and y'all got to deal with a war too. America, y'all made y'all bed. Hunnit K gonna keep doing what we doing. Fuck y'all talk.
Hey man, we gonna have to change your name to Affirmative Action, my boy. I'm telling you, my boy. Hey man, you on the road tonight. Let me ask you this, man. And definitely condolences to all the families affected in the Buffalo shooting. I just think it's crazy that we still, going through and dealing with stuff like this. Let me ask you something, and if you can answer quickly, do you know if he has been arrested? It looks like
he got arrested, nigga, and they brought him in with no gun run. He didn't get roughed up. Mm. He didn't have not one scuff on him, bro. They brought him in peacefully, nigga. Peacefully. They would have shot me, nigga. Mm-hmm. They would have shot me. Mm-hmm. They brought him in peacefully, bro.
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
They didn't even look like they took their guns off their holsters. It looked like the cop showed up, said, "Are you done?" And he was like, "Yes." And then they walked him in the fucking car, bro. Are you serious? That's what it looked like.
Well, let me say this. It definitely, from what I read, he was at that same supermarket the day before doing like some recon and trying to figure out who was going to be what. I think they also said that he was studying previous hate attacks and shootings and things like that based on his.
They always got a narrative. Got a narrative. There was always a narrative.
But let me finish this. Let me finish this. It looks like there was also evidence that was uncovered that he had plans to kind of even continue his rampage and continue shooting people, apparently. And this is what's probably most important to this whole ordeal or situation, that 11 of the 13 people who he shot were black. Now, this is an 18-year-old white male who shot these people. Now, I did hear on a certain news outlet, and I actually like this news outlet, so I'm not gonna say what news outlet it was because I like this news outlet, but I was very disappointed in this news outlet for reporting something like this. They were reporting the fact that this 18-year-old white male potentially did not have his brain completely developed since he's only 18 years old. They wanted to highlight the fact that young men at 18 years old do not have fully developed brains. So they wanted to.
Can I tell you what I was doing at
One
18?
second, one
Can
second.
I
Let
can
me
I
finish.
can I tell you,
One,
America?
one second, one second, one second. Let me finish this, bro. I'm gonna pass it off to you. Just let me finish the facts. Let me add some color in here before you go on your rant real
At
quick. All right.
18, my mind was developed.
No, but wait. Let me add some color, and then I'm gonna pass it on to you. But
All right.
essentially, they were saying that an 18-year-old male's brain is not fully developed, right? So could there be a mental illness or something preventing this guy from having the wherewithal to do what's right? With that being said, I'm gonna pass it off to you now because at this point we have enough of the facts to deem this as a pure evil hate attack.
All right.
It's a
All right.
crime.
All
Go
right.
ahead, my
I'm
brother.
about to
Go ahead,
shit.
my
I'm
brother.
I'm
Go
about to
ahead.
shit on that whole shit right now. If they
Go ahead.
gonna sit there and tell me some shit about, oh my God, it's 18 a well-developed mind. Well, guess what? If a cop catch a 14-year-old kid selling weed and it's just weed, he ain't kill nobody. But y'all about to put this little kid in jail. Is his mind well developed to be put in a jail? Is his mind well developed to be hit with a grown man ass charge? No, right?
I hear
But
you,
no,
man.
when an 18-year no, but hold up, 18-year-old, right? His mind is developed to be sent to war. Shut the fuck up, America. You don't get out of here with that. You are 18. Well, hold up. You don't even gotta be you 18. You can buy some cigarettes at 18. Your mind is well developed. The fuck out of here. They drinking liquor at 18. Mind developed. They asking them to sign shit to go to college at 18. Your mind is well developed. Get out of here, America. All you doing is trying to shoot bullshit. Yo, America, yo, the news is gonna be so unbelievable and so worthwhile of watching of what they doing, and it's gonna be because of white people because y'all do too much to try and save the face of white people. White people just take your shit like everybody fucking else do. You know what I'm saying? You know what it is with white people? Yeah, y'all don't have the luxury of what China got. In China, when Chinese people do fucked up shit, they ain't got no one else to blame it on but Chinese people. Like, oh, but China doing some hood shit. But China, you feel me? They ain't got these. Yo, America, yo, y'all reckoning. I love America. I really do. I really do. But y'all, I mean, y'all do it to yourselves. Let's be honest. Y'all do it to yourselves. Like, take a seat back. Look at the angles. Y'all do it to yourselves. If y'all give these little white boys that do fucked up shit some real time, if you really hang these niggas for these heinous ass crimes, I promise you America will be doing a lot better. I promise you the world to look at America like, you know what? I think America is hitting the corner. But guess what? If this white boy gets off in any type of way or any he's psychotic or if they change the narrative, we will be right back to where we was, and then the riots and the Black Lives. And it's like, aren't you tired of talking about the same stuff? Like, can't we get to a point of progression?
Mm-hmm.
Martin Luther King should be doing a whole 360 in his grave from where we're at right now. This man lost his life for this.
Mm-hmm. No, I
This
hear you.
man lost his life for this. For
I'm
saying
with you.
white people do fucked up shit and look, America, this shouldn't be happening and we shouldn't allow it to happen. And in 2022, guess what, America? You have continued to show that it is acceptable for it to happen. I think so. My fault. Oh,
No,
my fault.
I'm with you.
Oh,
I'm with you. Let me
yeah.
let me let me add this. Let me add this as some additional color.
I think
It
I was talking so
appears
much real shit, they ain't in mind, bro.
no,
Yeah.
it appears that this this young man was plotting this whole shooting for months, and you could see that on his social media where he was like actually writing his or he was posting his thoughts on this whole shooting. He actually had this attack planned for he had this attack planned for March 15th.
Premeditated,
Right?
nigga.
He premeditated it. He delayed it several times. And then he also cited doing some online research. He drove to Buffalo, and he drove to this specific zip code in Buffalo because this zip code has a higher black population than other locations that he was considering. He was really, really putting effort into plotting this idea out. Now, the fact that there is a digital footprint for him to commit this heinous act lets me know that the whole free speech thing is a myth. It's just absolutely a myth. Like, obviously, we got people like Donald Trump getting banned from Twitter. And if Donald Trump is going to get banned from Twitter, we should be banning the people who were plotting on doing shootings. Forget the shit that Donald Trump was on there talking
My
about.
nigga, they do live streams.
No, wait. I mean, I understand that, but this guy was plotting on doing a shooting, and he had it planned for March 15th, and he had been planning this for months, several months. All right, and I'm just of the mindset, if we're going to ban certain politicians for certain things that they say, well, what happens when you get somebody from the middle of freaking nowhere who's ready to pull the trigger within a supermarket and then document the entire process? We got to really start thinking about this. A lot of these shootings that are happening today, these young men are documenting this process of them plotting out the whole location that they want to attack, plotting out the victims that they want to.
That's true. That's true. That's true. And then the shit part is, the news is going to use it like we have such disturbing footage. Certain discretion is, and it's like the news hopes for stuff like this. It sells. I feel like America is never going to do anything about the mass murder or the mass shooting that's going on in America, because it's good for the news. It's good for the selling of guns. And because Joe Biden said on national TV, white supremacy has no place in America, it's going to get even worse.
Yeah, I know. I hear you, man. It's one of those things where it's just like.
Am I lying for saying that last part? Because Joe Biden said white supremacy has no place in America. It's going to get worse, y'all. Because
let me say this. It's not.
Now they feel threatened. Those are threatening words.
Let me say this.
And I hope we can eradicate them. But I feel bad for the ones that have to face that, because I'm not there. I'm not in the battlefields over there. But there are African Americans, my brothers and sisters.
Well, wait a second. This, because I don't want to change the topic, because you just said something. I want to stick to that. Here's the thing. When you have things like this that happen, you can easily, and this is the last thing I'll say because I want to switch the topic, but when you have things that happen like this, you can easily point to one thing. You can easily point. This is a combination of things. This has something to do with Biden. This has something to do with the Kenosha shooting. This has something to do with, like you said, Martin Luther King. This has something, to some degree, this has something to do with Trump. To some degree, this has something to do with white versus black. To a larger degree, it has something to do with racism. To an even larger degree, it has something to do with the security of social media. I think, to me, that's the largest portion of this. You can blame one man, you can blame one thing, but really, really the largest portion that has to hold the blame here is social media, the security that we have on social media, the ability to have people just go on social media and blurt out anything that they want to say. I think you even alluded to it as well, where they'll go and hand down a RICO charge to a black community. Where you got all of these black kids, for one reason or another, stupid enough to post the weed that they sell, the drugs that they sell, the guns that they buy. These idiotic kids are posting these things on social media. But when you have something like this happen, and he's posting it on social media, it's like no one even bats an eye. So it's some crazy shit.
Right?
But I
Like
want to
who was
shift.
included, who was his friends. He definitely has a connection. There's a network. Like, come on. But
It's
let's
crazy.
let's
It's crazy.
disregard that, right?
Yeah, I want to shift to this though, because I don't want to have this conversation be too dominant on that right there. Our brother Brent Christopher, friend of the show. And before I read this comment, Brent, I want to let you know what you said about James Harden may have very well been true. However, I'm gonna just read the comment and then I'm gonna go back to it. So Brent Christopher, like I said, friend of the show, what I told you about James Harden, but I'll carry on when you're done addressing a much more important issue. Keep bringing awareness. I appreciate that, but I can't let this go on any longer, Brent. We're gonna have to talk about the whole James Harden thing. James Harden was awful in that series. He has been outside of the first 3 games that James Harden played for the Sixers, he had been awful. Just absolutely terrible. With that being said, on Thursday's show, we have to address this. I wouldn't go as far as to say he was good in game 3. He was okay in game 3. I think he heard a lot of noise. Obviously, game 3, that's when Embiid came back, so it was a different style. That he had to focus on Embiid because he wasn't there the first 2 games, and that opened things up a bit more for James Harden to do what he did in game 3. We're going to talk about this on Thursday. We need to talk about this on Thursday. But what I do want to shift to is this. Devin Booker is not a superstar. That may be a very, very hot take. I'm not sure what either of you, Brent or Talib, I'm not sure where you stand with that. But to me, Devin Booker is not a superstar. He is not. He's a star. He's a really good player. He scored a lot of points, but he is not a superstar. Second
We
thing.
know what a superstar entails. That's why. I know what a superstar entails.
We know what a superstar entails. But second thing, I want to ask you, did you hear what Pat Bev said, Talib, about Chris Paul?
I actually did. My brother actually had put the interview on. We was watching it with the whole game and shit, and I did hear what he said.
What are your thoughts?
I agree.
Really? Why is that? Tell me more, brother. Tell me. You always so vocal, brother. Tell me more, brother. Tell me more, brother.
I agree because of what we've seen.
Okay.
And I don't want to only put it on one player. You know, I had brought up the discussion with my brother Chad that if that little white boy ain't touched Chris Paul mom or his wife, maybe they might have took it.
Whoa. That was in a completely different series. That was in a different series. No. Okay, yeah, that was the Mav series. No, you're right. That was the Mav series. That was the Mav series. You're right. He did touch his no. Okay. Devin Booker is not a superstar. I mean,
No, but see, look, now what I'm saying about that is to what my brother has said, and he's absolutely right. These players get paid Millions of fucking dollars. If some shit happens on the court, you got money to go to therapy, come back, play the next game, and get a fucking chip. And he is right. And he is right. Whatever players go through, if they don't make the fucking cut, it's on them. You know why? Because you didn't use every fucking tool to make sure that you was gonna be at the motherfucking game and you was gonna be up to key. So yeah, don't give me that shit. I don't want to hear you wasn't at the gym early. I don't want to hear you was drinking too fucking much. I don't want to
Hold
hear
up,
your baby mother
hold
was
up, my
giving you
brother,
fucking
my brother,
drama.
my
You know
brother,
why? Because you
my
making
brother.
too damn much money to tell me you can't get another little Airbnb house down the block so you ain't got to deal with your baby mama shit,
Hold
nigga.
up,
Get
my
the fuck
brother.
out
Hold
of
up, hold up, hold up, my brother. Hold up, my brother.
here.
Time out, my brother. Time out.
Yeah.
Listen. What? Okay, one. We gotta slow down on the cursor for monetization, my brother.
You right.
We gotta slow down on the curse words for monetization, okay? They not gonna let us make money with all of these F-bombs on the show, my brother.
There was a
They-
few of them. You right.
yeah, we ain't gonna let us make this money like that, my brother.
So I'm sorry, Mr. Monetization and Mrs.
No, you gotta say
Monetization.
sorry. You gotta say sorry to Facebook and YouTube. Those are the two.
I'm
Face,
sorry, Facebook, and I'm
yeah,
sorry, YouTube. I sincerely apologize. And
yeah.
I
I'm gonna
hope
give you.
you guys have a blessed rest of the year. I hope everyone clicks a like. I hope everyone subscribe. I hope that me speaking about Facebook and YouTube brings 100 million more subscribes and likes to y'all. So from 100K and from all these doors opening up and from the love from our hearts, because we know that when we're passionate, sometimes we do say a few words, but we should always catch ourselves and maybe put a dime in the swear jar. So
Oh yeah,
here's the
you got $1 million in the swear jar, my boy. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You got a couple million in that jar, my boy.
Hey, guess
Oh,
what? I hope we gonna have a few million likes and all that in the like jar too.
that's a fact, my boy. Let's address this whole Devin Booker thing because I think it's very important to have this conversation.
Right.
Brent, Devin Booker is not a superstar. He is just a star. Listen, there is a difference between being a superstar and being a star. There is an absolute difference, okay?
Can he close the game?
Devin Booker, and I do want to address that too. I don't think being able to close a game makes you a superstar. But what I do think makes you a superstar is that when your team needs you, you put up X amount of points. Somebody like Jimmy Butler is a superstar. If he doesn't play well, his team is not going to win. Devin Booker is one of those players. If he doesn't play well, his team doesn't win. But when he does play well, his team has a high chance of winning. Now, there have been games where Devin Booker just hasn't played very well, and his
So would
team
you
won.
say that Devin Booker lost his superstar status because he didn't pull up and give enough points for that last game?
I wouldn't say it's not because of his points. It's because of what you do on the court and how your team responds to you. You can't be losing by 43 points and you got one of the top tier defenders on your team in Mikal Bridges. You got Ayton on your team who had just Ayton had just been playing well the entire series. But you look at CP and you look at Devin Booker, those are your two anchor points on your team. Now, if you got two anchor, obviously CP3 put up 9 points or something like that in that game. Devin Booker is so young. Even when he dropped that 671 points in the game, he was younger than what he was now. So it was kind of like we were expecting Devin Booker to uptrend and do an uptrend. However, he didn't do that after that 71-point game. It's almost like he got good, he got better, but he's not really a superstar. Don't forget, Devin Booker, without Chris Paul, Devin Booker has been on terrible teams. He's never been on a good team without Chris Paul. That's just a fact. So once Chris Paul leaves the Suns, Devin Booker is going to go right back to being the best player on a mediocre team.
And the Suns
Yeah.
are gonna go right back to being where they were before.
Booker did not get the Suns to the finals last year. He did not. Chris Paul got the Suns to the finals last year. That's just a fact.
Yo, bro. While I use the bathroom, just shout.
My brother, what's going on, my brother? How you living?
Shorty conversation.
Huh?
How you living, my brother?
I'm good, man. I'm just watching the Boston and Miami game right now.
Did you watch that Suns and Mavs series?
Oh, of course.
Let me ask you this: is Devin Booker a superstar?
Devin Booker, superstar. I want to say yes, but he's on the lower end of the superstar spectrum. You know,
What do you mean by that?
like
Okay.
even within the superstars, you still have tiers, right? Like
Okay.
the top tier would be LeBron, Durant,
Yeah.
Giannis.
Giannis.
Right.
Okay.
You know, a lower
Curry.
tier of superstars would be like, um, like a Lillard or Tatum or things like that. You have different tiers, right? The top tier superstars, what they all have in common, they have accolades, meaning that they'll be an MVP of the league, scoring champion, steals leader, rebound leader. They win some kind of individual award.
Yeah.
Typically those are your superstars. And everyone that's top tier fits in that category. Durant, Curry, Harden, Westbrook, people with MVPs, people with scoring titles, things like that. Jokic is now a two-time MVP. So Devin Booker doesn't have any accolades at all. He's just a three-time All-Star.
Right.
And then he hasn't done it in the playoffs. So it's is he knocking on the door of superstar? I think he's on the line.
I think he's teetering. I think he's a star. I think what you're saying about the whole tier system is appropriate as well, and I think it applies very, very well to Devin Booker. To me, Jason Tatum is teetering as well. To me, if Jason Tatum is able to take the Celtics to the finals, he doesn't even have to win the finals, but he needs to take them to the finals. And the only reason why I say he becomes a superstar if he takes them, and Devin Booker was in the finals last year, it's because Tatum doesn't have a quintessential point guard like Chris Paul is. Chris Paul really, really dominates the game. He changes the game. We saw that when he was with OKC. We saw that when he was with Houston. We seen that when Chris Paul was with every team.
Chris Paul is the superstar. That's for sure. Yeah.
Now, Devin Booker, on the other hand, I think he is an elite scorer. I don't see him as a superstar. I think he's just a star. I don't think he's a superstar. Somebody, like you said, you have the accolades, but what's most important to me as a superstar is when it's time, you show up for your team. You show up. Like you are there to be the player that they expect you to be. So that's
but this is the thing, right? I think it's a little unfair to say he doesn't show up because of some disappointing losses. So what I mean by that is for Phoenix to get to the finals, they had to go through three rounds of the playoffs. So he had to show up for 3 rounds, right? And even in the finals, he showed up for the first 2 games. What happened was in the finals of last year is that a player that's been very underrated for his whole career, and people know he's good, but I don't think they ever had him at that level, is Drew Holiday, right? And the reason why I say that is because Drew Holiday to me, is probably the best defensive point guard in the league for the last however many years.
I can see that.
So, and I say that because I don't know if you recall, in Game 6 of the finals, Booker had the ball. He had the ball at the last few seconds. He had an opportunity to tie the game, I think, or take the no to tie the game so that they wouldn't get eliminated in Game 6. And Drew Holiday was holding him. And when he went for the shot, Drew Holiday stripped him
I remember that.
at the end of the game,
I
right? And
remember
if
that.
you watch the other couple games that Drew Holiday does, dude, his defense is ridiculous. So
Yeah.
Booker did not play good. He tried in the finals. He did throw up a lot of shots. He missed. He tried, and in this series here, um, they just got smoked. So I wouldn't say that he doesn't show up, right? At the end of the day, this is where the tears start to come in because certain
Mm.
superstars could only go to a certain point for you.
Yeah.
Like a Vince Carter was a superstar, but he could only go to a certain point for you. You know what I mean? And that's where it caps off. So I think with Booker, at the end of the day, he's only 5 seasons in or six
True.
seasons in, whatever he is. So we'll see. It remains to be seen.
Yeah. No, for sure. Let me ask you this, because our friend Brent Christopher seems to think so. Devin Booker averaged 26.8 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 4.8 assists per game this year. Are those superstar stats to you?
Not the rebounds and the assists. The points is superstar stats because the
Okay.
average 27 points per game in the playoffs is that's why I say it's tough with him because I would put him there, but I would put him at the lowest level of superstar. I wouldn't put him like high up, you
Like,
know.
he's
But
not
but
going to be a difference maker for you. Okay. That's what I mean. He's not going to be the difference between y'all going or not going. Like, if y'all don't have him, basically. Like, let's
no,
say,
no,
like,
he is, but it depends on him, right? So Booker's one of those people that he got the talent. He
right.
got the talent, right?
Mm.
He just need to refine it. Learn to pick his spots, learn to make sure to get automatic baskets, learn to do certain things, and then also to play with the team. So it's tough, right? So like, all right, I put it like this: Damian Lillard is another player. He don't have no accolades, right?
Okay.
But Damian Lillard is, and I think statistically they said this about him. He is the most clutch player in the NBA
Yeah.
in terms of hitting shots and everything, and
Yeah.
and when the game matters, right? But again, him and Booker have weaknesses. They don't play defense.
Yep.
You know what I mean? There's weaknesses in the game. Offensive talent is not enough to be the person that everybody relies on. Because as you can see with James Harden, who doesn't play no defense and just waits till he can have the ball and score, it doesn't get you anywhere.
That's true.
So Booker, what I say, he's a superstar, yes, because you bring a person like that to your team, you're getting a super offensive punch, right?
Yeah.
Now, is he as reliable in clutch games as other players? No, but you
Definitely
can
not.
argue James Harden is less reliable than him.
I'll give you that. I will give you that. James Harden is not reliable in the playoffs.
James Harden is
Not
less
one
reliable
bit.
than him, but we're not questioning his superstar talent, right? Even though we know he's useless in the playoffs, more or
That's
less.
true. That's true. The only reason why I say the 27 points per game is not necessarily a difference maker. I'm talking about like somebody who's going to change the outcome of a series. Like somebody like Jimmy Butler, he's a difference maker. He might not put up 27 points every single game, but his 22 points and what he does on defense and what he does to the camaraderie for the team he's making a difference. Booker is out there putting up shots,
No,
making threes.
that,
Go ahead.
that,
I'm
that's
gonna
true.
let you.
I completely agree with you. Booker, not Booker. What's his name? What's the guy? Oh, Butler. Butler's
Butler,
impact on the game is way more significant than a Devin Booker.
for
But
sure.
to say that 27 points per game does not impact the game, you can't say that. That's 27 points per game, right? You
Well,
know you're getting 27 points from this player to contribute to the team. Like you can't discount that because people
I
don't
can
average that.
see that. I can see that, but you gotta remember in terms of making a difference, points are not the only way you can make a difference on the team. So, like, all right, put it like this: Devin Booker was the leading scorer on the Suns, right? But Chris Paul was the difference maker on the Suns. You get what I'm saying? Chris Paul was the difference between the Suns being an okay team to the Suns being
Yeah,
the number one
well,
team in the league.
we know that Chris Paul is like, so if there's three tiers of superstar, Chris Paul is like tier two, right?
Okay.
Chris Paul is like tier two. Devin Booker is a lower tier. So we can't compare the impact of Devin Booker versus Chris Paul. We all know Chris Paul's resume. He goes to a team with nothing, and they end up being in the playoffs somehow. That's Chris Paul. We know that. Devin Booker don't have that effect. But what I'm saying is, if they know they can get 20, because you gotta look at it. Nobody averages 27 points in the playoffs. People don't do that. Regular people don't do that. So for
That's
you
true.
to contribute that amount of offensive load to the team, right? Regardless if because I put it like this. Carmelo Anthony maybe averaged 30 something points in playoffs, right?
Mhm.
But is his impact greater than Chris Paul or somebody like that? No, because
No.
Carmelo's impact most of the time just benefited himself, right? Now it was still a lot of points to get, right?
Yeah.
Which is why I wouldn't put Carmelo as saying he's not a superstar. He is a superstar. It just
He's a
doesn't
lower
help the
tier.
team much.
Yeah. Well, that's
That's all.
that's how I'm
That's it.
looking at that's how I'm looking at Booker because
Yeah.
it's like
So I agree. I agree. I wouldn't say Book is not a superstar. I would just say his contribution is not as it's overstated based off the stats. It's not as great as it could be, and I agree with that. You
well,
know,
I want to address this too because Brent says you do not double team someone who is not a difference maker. And I want to just say this. You can absolutely double team somebody that's not a difference maker. Don't forget in I mean, listen, they double team LeBron James, and the only reason why I'm saying this is because they double team LeBron in series, and he still comes out scoring 30 points, having 12 rebounds, 10 assists. It's just what happens. So when there is a superstar who is double teaming, he's primarily known to shoot and score, and if he's double team, you could take him out of the game. He's not a difference maker. If all you can do, if I can deploy my team and stop the one thing that you do and you can't do nothing else, well then you're not listen, if you stop LeBron from scoring, somebody else going to score. Why? Because LeBron's going to pass him the ball. If you stop LeBron from passing the ball, LeBron's going. So that's a difference maker. I'm talking about somebody who can do more than one elite thing and help the team. Listen, every single night Booker's not going to score 27 points. Some nights he's going to have 30. Some nights he's going to have 20. And then the 27 is an average. So just saying he averages 27 doesn't mean he's going out there and scoring 27 points. He needs to show up for his team. He needs to make a difference for his team. Okay, y'all doubling, y'all shutting down Chris Paul. I'm going to go to Chris Paul. Yo, I need this out of you. I need this out of you. Bridges, I need this out of you. They're doubling me. Remember that one play when Jordan kicked the ball to Steve Kerr or even Paxson, and Paxson and Kerr was hitting threes. That's because in the timeout, Jordan's like, yo, they're gonna double me. I'm gonna kick you the ball. That's a difference maker. He's like, they're doubling me. I still gonna score, but they're doubling me. So you're gonna need to score this bucket that we need. And I'm gonna be the one to pass it to you. That's a difference maker. I'm able to get us where we need to be, regardless of how many points I score, regardless of how many rebounds or assists that I get. We're gonna win this game. You get what I mean? That's the mindset that Jimmy Butler has. No matter how many points I score, we gonna win this game. That's how I see it. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you jump in there, Jack. Go ahead. Wait, I can't hear you, Chad. What you say?
Not as good as you. He's not that good the way he went to be.
Hold on, wait. I think you covering the speaker. Go ahead.
Oh, oh, you're right.
I'm like, hold on, I can't hear you. Not one
he's
word
not.
you saying.
He's not. He's not that. He's not the player that people think he is, right? But if people double team you, right? Yes, you're a difference maker. People double team you, it means you're the man, right? He's just not. He's just not that guy that people want him to be, and that's all it is. He's not as good as he makes it looks like he is. That's it. But is he good? Yes. Does he have the talent to be a top tier player? Yes. He just has to again. He just has to fine tune his game. That's it. That's all he needs to do. But listen, Phoenix is I wouldn't blame him necessarily for that loss. They're just a regular season team, and at the end of the day, that's just what they are. And when you get into the playoffs, you get exposed.
Hmm.
That's it.
For sure.
And Phoenix historically has always been like that. Even when they had Steve Nash in them, they did the same thing. They won 60 something games. Nash
Hmm.
was MVP twice. They were like, oh yeah, this and that. But everybody knew when she got to the playoffs, it was most likely the Spurs that was going to get to the finals. Because you guys are just a regular season team. You're not built, you don't play playoff basketball. And that comes down to coaching. Look, they got that big kid in there, DeAndre Ayton or whatever. They should be playing half court basketball.
Yeah.
They should be running the offense through him, having him post up. These things they want to play. Oh, let's run and shoot. Let's play like every other team in the league. It doesn't work for everybody. It worked for Golden State. Yes, they started that shit. Not really them, but they made it the best, and everybody wants to play like them. And you can't play. You got to be yourself.
No, no, listen, you right, Brent. The Suns did make it to the finals last year, but making it ain't winning it. So we can't talk about what they did in terms of making it because they ain't win it. You can
Yeah.
make it to the finals and still be a regular season team. If you don't win the finals, you are a regular season. If you are that good as the Suns have been the last 2 years, and you don't win the finals, well, then you're a regular season team. Making it to the finals does not mean anything. I mean,
uh,
LeBron made
the
it to the
phone's on
finals 10
10%.
times. He only got 4 rings. So we gonna count the 4 and not the 10. So I mean, that's just how I'm looking at it. Okay, Ethan comes in. I want to pass this off to you, Chad.
See, my nigga, look.
Who do you think have the best odds to make the finals out of the West? The Mavs or the Warriors?
The Warriors.
So do you think the Mavs have any chance to beat the Warriors at all?
No, I wouldn't be surprised if they get swept.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Go ahead. Give me more. Give me more. Give me more.
Listen, the Mavs are not that good. They just Phoenix is just bad coaching.
Yeah.
So there's no reason Phoenix was supposed to lose to that team. It's just bad coaching, right? You're going up against a Golden State team that has won multiple championships. They have the same four players that are the core for their team. The coaching is phenomenal. The defense is excellent. I'll be surprised if the Mavs could win a game against a team like that.
Mm.
You
Even
know,
with even with Dinwiddie and Brunson playing so well. I mean, listen, in that closeout game, it's like all three. It's like Luca, Brunson, and Dinwiddie had 30 just about in that closeout game. You don't think that they have a shot against the Warriors?
well, it wasn't a competitive game, right? The fact that three players got 30 points and they won by 40 something or 30 points or whatever it was, it just what that tells you is the other team quit, right? It doesn't tell you that this team just plays so exceptional. The other team literally quit, right?
Yeah,
The DeAndre Ayton took 5 shots for the game. They quit, and then he didn't even play the whole game because the coach took him out.
yeah,
So
that's
they
true.
gave up, right? They're not going to play a team like Golden State. Golden State will not give up.
Yeah,
You get what I mean? They would roll over in their grave before they go down 30 points and a half,
yeah,
right? So And then you got to remember, listen, it's so many people and teams that are injured. Dallas probably wouldn't even made the playoffs if all the teams were healthy. Like so these are just the people that's in because everyone else got hurt.
I could see
You
that.
and that's it. But listen, Golden State. I thought Milwaukee probably was the only team that can beat them. And now that they're out of the playoffs, I don't see how Golden State doesn't win this championship.
Definitely, definitely an easier road for sure. Ethan
Yo,
says the Mavs are a better defensive team than the Warriors by a
No,
bit.
what do you
Listen,
no way.
I,
Because
I,
I don't want to
I'm
show
not.
that. Yo,
I'm
y'all,
not. Yes, sir.
I don't mean to disturb the beautifulness of what's going on,
What's
but
up, brother? Lay it on me.
I just got put on a battery power 5% reserve.
Oh yeah, no. Do your thing. Do your thing, my brother. And then when you get back, like I said, Thursday we're gonna chop it up some more. But I'm gonna definitely tap back in with you. I want to continue the show, continue it rolling, and then
Yo,
we're gonna
the
talk.
rest of the world and the universe, I want y'all to thank my brother right here.
Yo,
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Appreciate both of y'all brothers, man.
Now,
Like I
me, and then I want y'all to, my fault for interrupting, but I want y'all to
quickly,
go and I want y'all to type in at Canero, and I want y'all to click his link, and I want y'all to watch that new video, and I want y'all to share it. And once y'all share it, I want y'all to share it again, and share it again.
That's a
Because it's
fact.
a lot of love going on, and it's a lot of music and a lot of talent that's going on. Make sure, like I said, at Canero, follow that, like that, connect with that, and make sure the rest of the world see it. And the floor is for my boy. See.
Yes, sir. Peace and love, my brother. Blessings, blessings on blessings, my brother. Let me get to this, Brent, because Brent, you talking that talk. I'm not sure you walking that walk. Okay, so if you were not with us, I do want to let you know that the conversation was if the Suns
I
made
gotta
it
go,
to the,
y'all.
all right, my brother. If the Suns make it to the finals and they're a good team, it does not mean at all that they are a championship caliber team. They've never won the championship. Just because you make it to the championship does not make you a championship caliber team. The Bengals made it to the championship and lost. That does not make them a championship caliber team. And it looks like Brent's saying that's like saying, oh, the Bills made it to the Super Bowl 4 years straight, but because they didn't win, they're not a playoff team. I'm willing to say, yes, you are absolutely correct. Those Bills that won the AFC 4 years straight? Okay, they may be conference champions 4 years straight, but tell me what that means. Tell me what winning the conference championship means. Tell me what that means. It means nothing. It doesn't mean a thing. Because once you win the conference championship and you lose in the Super Bowl or in the finals, people don't remember you for being the conference champion. They remember you for being the loser in the finals. It can only be one winner. And then everybody else is a loser. So if you make it to the championship and don't win it, I don't want to hear you say you're a championship caliber team. Let me tell you something. If the Cavaliers remember the shot that Kyrie hit, if the Cavaliers made it to the finals every single year and the Warriors beat them every single year, the Cavs would not be a championship team. But because Kyrie hit that shot and they won the finals, that made them a championship team. Without the championship, you cannot be a championship. Listen, if you are a really, really good team and you make it to the finals every year, you are not a champ. You are not a great playoff team, because the best playoff teams win the playoffs. That's just it. The best playoff teams win the playoffs. I don't want to hear nobody saying the Lakers are a great playoff team. from what they have, because they're not even in the playoffs. I don't want to hear nobody saying that the Nets are a great playoff team because they're not even in the playoffs. I don't want to even hear somebody saying that the Sixers are a great playoff team because they're terrible when the playoffs comes around. Like, we only remember the winners. We don't remember the losers. The Suns are not a good playoff team. That's just the fact. They're not a good playoff team. I'm sorry. Those Bills that you're referring to that made it to the Super Bowl 4 years straight were not a good Super Bowl team. They were not a good playoff team. I'm willing to say that. Why? Because they don't have the credentials to say that they were. I'm not willing to say that the Bills were a great playoff team just because they made it 4 times in a row. To me, I mean, that it almost means nothing. I remember the Bills who made it 4 years. I don't remember the Bills who made it 4 years straight, but I do know they made it 4 years straight. And what I can tell you is that they never won it. So I cannot get on the bandwagon to say that they are a good playoff team. They are not a good playoff team because the good playoff teams win the playoffs. They had 4 opportunities. They couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. They didn't do it. I mean, that's it. You know, I mean, listen. Yes, they are. Listen, the only reason why I said they're a regular season team is because the last 2 years they had probably the best playoff or the best regular season record. But just because you have the best regular season record does not make you a good team. Okay, put it like this, right? There's a team, 60 wins, right? 60 wins in the regular season in the NBA. They make it to the finals and they lose to a 42-win team. The 60-win team that lost is a regular season team. They made it to the finals, but they are a regular season team because they don't know how to win the playoffs. Okay, tell me what part of that, Brent, doesn't make sense. Tell me what part of that doesn't make sense. Listen, the Suns were okay. We're not gonna do no more hypotheticals. Okay, let's go with the facts. Do you remember the Suns when they had Steve Nash? I'm sure you do. When they had Steve Nash was a 2-time MVP. They were a 60-win team. They had Amari Stoudemire. They had Sean Marion. They had Leandro Barbosa. They had phenomenal players. But when it came to the playoffs, the 60 wins didn't help them at all. So they were the best team in the regular season. But when it came to the playoffs, it's like something clicked and they were a different team. That's a regular season team. That's the criteria of a regular season team. When you have such a good regular season, listen, this was the best chance that Chris Paul had to win an NBA championship. Last year, he was in the finals. This year's team was better than last year's Suns team. But because the Suns are not a good playoff team, because they are only a regular season team, they weren't going to win it. They just weren't going to win it. I mean, that's it. It did help them. They would have beat the Spurs that year if Amari didn't get suspended. If we're a fifth, we would all be in here drunk. If we're a fifth, we would all be in here drunk. Listen, if they won the series, they would have went to the finals. And if they would have lost in the finals, then we would say the same thing. They were a regular season team. Just because Amari got suspended doesn't change the narrative behind that team. They were a 60-plus win team. That year, they didn't win the championship. They're a regular season team. I mean, listen, that may be true. Amari got suspended. It changed the series. That may very well be true. But we're not going to remember those facts. We're going to remember the fact that the Spurs wound up winning the championship that year, and that was the championship team that year. We remember when Kevin Durant got hurt in that Toronto Raptors series, but we don't discredit the Toronto Raptors for what they did. listen, if you make it to the finals and you lose, it means nothing. You everybody's gonna remember the facts. We're gonna remember the facts of what happened and what led up to that team winning the championship. We're gonna remember that. But when you look down the history books to say, and this year this team won the championship, this year this team won the championship, this team, you just gonna remember who won the championship. And whoever they played was a sorry son of a bitch, because they could not get over the hump. Last year, the Suns went up 2-0. Then they let Giannis and the Bucks win 4 games straight. 4 games straight. They were up 2-0. Then they let Giannis win 4 games straight. That's a regular season team. And when I say regular season team, doesn't mean that they can't make it to the finals, but a regular season, okay, nobody uses the terminology to classify a team as a playoff team. Nobody uses that. They only say a playoff team when you're going into the playoffs. Nobody will classify a certain team as a playoff team, but we'll classify teams as regular season teams because that indicates that in the regular season, you're a good team. But when the playoffs come around, you're not the same team you were in the regular season. That's what is happening to the Suns. That's what happens to the Suns. That's what happens to a lot of Chris Paul teams. Remember when Chris Paul was with the Rockets? They were a regular season team. The Rockets had the best record in the West in the whole NBA for like 2 or 3 years when Chris Paul was with the Rockets. But because they were a regular season team, nobody expected them to beat the Warriors. Nobody expected them to go to the finals. They were up 3-1 on the Warriors and lost. They made 0 threes. Remember that game? Game 7, they couldn't find a 3-point shot. They couldn't find anything. Regular season teams don't win in the playoffs. You have to win playoff games to get to the finals, which makes you a playoff team, but nobody uses that terminology, a playoff team. The only time you say this team is a playoff team is when you're going in, when you're still in the regular season and you're going into the playoffs. So like if there were 10 games left in the regular season, you would say, oh, well, this team is a playoff team, that team is a playoff team, and this team and that team are on the fence. They may not be playoff team. That's the only time you'll say a playoff team. You're either a championship competitor or you're a regular season team. A playoff team is a team who does well in the playoffs. No, a playoff team is a team who is in the playoff picture with games left remaining in the regular season. So you can identify who the teams will be in the playoffs. That's a playoff team. A playoff team is not a team that does well in the playoffs. That is not what a playoff team is. I mean, it can't be. You can't classify that as you can't use that to say this team is a playoff team. Because I could easily say the Lakers are a playoff team and they're not. I could easily say that the Timberwolves are a playoff team. The Timberwolves, they were in the playoffs, but they are not a playoff team. The Sixers were in the playoffs, but they are not a playoff team. I mean, that's just a fact. I mean, listen, a playoff team is a team that makes the playoffs and wins in the playoffs. It's really simple. Only one team can win the playoffs. So I guess that's where we differentiate, because only one team can win the playoffs. The point of the playoffs is to win the playoffs. That's what I'm saying. You cannot call the Lakers a playoff team because they didn't make the playoffs. You can't call the Suns a championship level team because they didn't win the championship. That's just what it is. You can't say that. I mean, David Huss, do you know Mike? Who is Mike? Tell us who Mike is. Tell us who Mike is, because I want to give you an opportunity to say this joke. Go ahead, my brother. Go ahead, my brother. Put it up there. Put it up there. The time is now. Who is Mike? Who is Mike? Do you know Mike? Mike who? Let us know. I don't see your next comment. Where is it at? Where is it at? You can still win lots of games in the playoffs. No, you can't. Mike Hawk. It took today, Junior. It took you long enough to throw that up there. You can still win lots of games in the playoffs. It depends on what lots means, because you need 16 games to win the championship. And if I had to say winning lots of games in the playoffs, to win lots of games, you got to win 16. So if you don't win 16, to me, that's not lots. That's where I'm like, okay, you're conflating the two. You're conflating a regular season team, a playoff team, and a championship level team. There are 3 tiers in the NBA. There are 4 tiers in the NBA. You got a championship team, you got a playoff team, you got a regular season team, and then everybody else. That's it. 4 tiers: championship, playoff, regular season, and everybody else. All right. I'm not. You're looking at at short term. I'm looking at longevity. Okay, so listen, longevity only means that the team who won the championship is the champ. Like, listen, when you in the playoffs, in order to win, and if you're gonna win lots of games, like you termed it, lots of games, that's winning the championship in the playoffs. You can't win lots of games in the playoffs and then not win the championship. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm confused because you're confused. I'm confused because you're confusing me. This is the thing. Listen, teams who make the playoffs. Okay, the Bills won lots of playoff games in multiple years. Yes, through multiple years. Through those 4 years, they won lots of playoff games. They had 4 chances to win 1 game, and they didn't do it. That's the part we're going to remember. You got to win lots of playoff games to make it to the Super Bowl 4 times. Yes. But if you don't win one of those 4 games, you are a regular season team. Those Bills were regular season teams. They were regular season teams. That's it. A playoff team. Okay. Right. So they were a playoff team with lots of success. I can't say that. I can't say they were a successful team. I can't say that. There's only one successful team every year. They had 4 chances to be that successful team. They were not. That's just it. They weren't successful. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, if you were in the NFL, would you like to go to the Super Bowl 4 times? Yes. Is that deemed a success that you go to the Super Bowl 4 times? Yes. But when you are a fan of these things, that is what really, really makes the difference. If they win or if you're a fan, winning and losing makes the difference between who you determine who is great, who leaves a legacy in your mind. Regular season team just means you hardly advance deep in the playoffs. Making it to the finals is successful. Making it to the finals is successful depending on who you are. If LeBron made it to the... Listen, I'm glad you said that because that set me up for the whole LeBron argument. LeBron made it to the finals 10 times. He made it to the finals more than Michael Jordan. Not very many people are willing to say that LeBron James was better than Michael Jordan just because he made it to the finals 10 times. You got to win it, my boy. You got to win it. If you're not winning it, what's the point of you going? If you go 10 times and you only get 4 rings out of 10, Jordan went 6 for 6. Now, I'm of the mindset that LeBron might be better than Michael Jordan, but based on what you're saying right here, making it to the finals is successful. Well, if making it to the finals is successful, then LeBron James should be unanimously the best player ever. But that's just not the case, because making it to the finals does not determine success. Making it to the finals is an achievement, but you get a trophy for the conference. You don't get a trophy for the championship. The championship trophy is an achievement. Listen, when they introduce LeBron James, they say 4-time champion. They don't say LeBron James, the 10-time Eastern Conference champion. They don't say that, because that's ridiculous. They don't say that. They don't say that, though. But making it to the finals is an achievement because you get a trophy. Okay, okay, yes, it is. But if you're a fan, Brent, that's where I'm like, Brent, you know better, because if you're a fan like we are fans, just because you get a participate, that's all the conference finals trophy is a participation award. That's it. A conference final trophy is a participation award. You got an award for participating in the finals. You didn't win it, but you got an award for participating in it. That's where I think you're being a little disingenuous with this whole success thing. It is absolutely a participation award. They participated in the final games of the year. Doesn't mean that they were champions. They just were in the championship game. That is the conference finals trophy is a participation award. You can only get this award if you participate in the finals. When you go to participate in the finals, they give you an award. Then they give the winner a trophy. Like, listen, the conference finals is a participation award. That's just what it is. You only get it if you win the conference finals that you earn. I understand that. But after the conference, you know how Jay-Z, after the party is the after party. So after the party from the conference finals is the after party, is the real party begins. Once you win the conference finals, the real party begins. The real party begins. If you not there to win the real thing, to win the whole thing, why you there? Why you there? You were just participating. Brent, man, I definitely appreciate you coming on. He's like, this ain't Pee-wee football. I mean, it's almost like it's Pee-wee football, because if you're not being celebrated as the champion, why are we going to celebrate you? Listen, we don't celebrate those Cavaliers teams that won the Eastern Conference Finals all those years. We don't celebrate them. We don't celebrate them. We don't celebrate the Heat team that lost to the Mavs in 2011. We don't celebrate those teams. We don't celebrate the Spurs team that lost to the Heat after Ray Allen hit that shot. We don't celebrate those teams. We don't celebrate Kobe Bryant for losing to the Celtics. We don't celebrate him. We celebrate the winners, the Celtics. I mean, that's just what it is. It's a participation award. If you participate in the finals, you probably got an Eastern Conference Final trophy, or you got a Western Conference Finals trophy, but you can't win the Finals trophy because you lost. You lost. That's why every single year when somebody goes to the Super Bowl and then they lose in the Super Bowl, you see their team with the Jordan crying emoji. Because we don't care that they won their conference. We don't care about them winning the conference. We don't care about none of that. That's exactly why teams who are sitting at home can listen. I'm sure you saw that video where Anthony Edwards was laughing at the Suns. I'm sure you saw that video where he was laughing at the Suns. Now, he is home and lost in a playoff series, but because the Suns are still in the playoffs and he's at home or at a bar, wherever he was, watching this series go down and unfold, and the Suns were on the brink of elimination, he was willing to go on social media to say these guys are bums after he just got put out of the playoffs. He had just got put out of the playoffs. It wasn't that long ago where he was just put out by the Memphis Grizzlies. But he can clown a team that made it further than his team. Why? Because they were losing. We don't care about the losers in the playoffs. There's only one team we care about. It's the championship team, the team that wins the championship. Everybody else, they're participants. That's it. If you don't win the finals or the championship games, you were a participant. I mean, that's what it is. Okay. Listen, only reason why I brought up Anthony Edwards is because of this. Edwards was out of the playoffs, but he was willing to make a video about a team who was still in the playoffs, but they were losing in the playoffs. If he had just got put out in the first round, by your logic, he should not be able to clown any second round team. He shouldn't be able to do that. But he is able to get a pass on clowning the second round loser because they're a loser. So put it like this. LeBron James didn't make the playoffs this year, right? Whatever two teams make it to the finals, listen, the only reason why I bring up Edwards is not necessarily because of him as a player. I'm talking about the action of him being out of the playoffs and he still being able to clown a team that's in the playoffs. That's my whole point. It's not about Anthony Edwards as a player himself or what he's done. It's not about any of that. The facts are the facts. Anthony Edwards lost in the playoffs. He went home in the first round, but he was willing to make a video about a team who made it to the second round but lost in the second round. So the point there being is that we don't care about the losers. We don't care about if you're in the playoffs and you lose first round, second round, third round, or even in the finals. We're going to laugh at you because you lost. That's it. People gonna laugh because you lost. That's it. If you lose in the playoffs, doesn't matter what round it is, people are gonna laugh at you. So if you're like the Suns, or if you're like the Bengals, or if you're like the Bills 4 times in a row, people are gonna laugh at you because you lost in the playoffs. You lost. That's it. I'll drop the Edwards point. But put it like this. Any team that loses in the playoffs gets laughed at. That's just what happens. Brent, you may not be laughing at the Bills, but there are millions of people who laugh at the Bills. All 4 of those years. Listen, I'm sure there were headlines. No, absolutely true. Absolutely true. If you do not win if you make it to the finals and you do not win the final game, you're going to get laughed at. That's it. That's just what happens. Put it like this, because I know you had an interesting take on the MVP too. People are laughing at Joel Embiid for not winning the MVP. They're not laughing at him because he was a great player. They're not giving him his props because he was a great player. Everybody can't win. Exactly. There's only one winner. So everybody else, people laugh at the runner-up. The runner-up is the first person to get laughed at. That's just a fact. I'll tell you like this. Whoever loses in the finals this year, they are gonna get more, they are gonna get heckled more than the Lakers would this year. Because they actually made it to the finals. And B had a great year and he should have got MVP, but he didn't get MVP. That's funny. That it's not funny to me. It may not be funny to you, but that's funny to somebody. It's what's funny is that he can play this well and not win the MVP. To some people, they may find that funny. Just like the Suns. The Suns had a great year, but they lost to a better team. People are going to be laughing at that. That's just a fact. People are going to be laughing at that. People are still talking more about the Lakers than they didn't even make the playoffs. No, 100%. But the team that's going to lose in the playoffs, they're going to get heckled more than the Lakers for losing in the finals. I'm sorry. The team that makes it to the finals, they're going to get listen. Here's the thing. The runner-up is always the first person to be laughed at. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. Relevancy in terms of how relevant a team is does not stop people from laughing at the loser of the last game of the year. Listen, the person who is the loser in the finals or the Super Bowl will be laughed at. Will 100% be laughed at. It's nothing that nobody could do. It's nothing. The Suns are going to be the laughing stock of the NBA because they lost in the finals to Giannis last year until somebody new loses in the finals this year. That's it. That's it. We only remember the winner and we laugh at the loser. Oh, I was laughing at the Bengals this year for 100%. I was laughing at the Bengals. Why? Because they were up in that game and they lost. Joe Shiesty lost. Everybody was laughing at the Bengals. Joe Shiesty was up in the second half. Odell Beckham Jr. goes out. Nobody was expecting the Rams to win. And then the Rams won. Last drive of the game, the Rams won. I mean, it was like written out of a movie or something like that. Everybody was laughing at the Bengals. Listen, let me look this up. Listen, everybody was laughing at the Bengals. Everyone was like, we only remember the winner. We only remember the winner. We don't pay no mind to the loser. Every person that I know in their right mind was laughing at the Bengals. Everybody was laughing at the Bengals. I remember the year when Tom Brady lost to the Eagles. Everybody was laughing at the Eagles, or everybody was laughing at Tom Brady. I remember when the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl with Donovan McNabb and Terrell Owens, and they lost. Everybody was laughing at the Eagles. I remember when Brady made it to the Super Bowl and the Giants won. Everybody was laughing at Brady. No. Bengals definitely had a great year for sure. There's nothing funny about that. But Brent, you know, like I know, man, we live in this social media age where people are only looking for their next laughing or funny moment. And it's so easy to laugh at the loser of these finals or Super Bowl games. That's just for sure. No, let's definitely chat later. Brent, I appreciate you jumping on the show, man. I got to get you on the show so we can have a discussion, man. A discussion. But yeah, man, that's my brother Brent, man. He out of here, man. I appreciate you once again, Brent, as always adding some color to the show. Always adding some great talking points to the show. We definitely a friend of the show, man. My brother Brent. Everybody give it up for my brother Brent, man. No, I mean, listen, that's just how it goes. That's just how it goes, man. But yeah, no, my brother Brent, man, I definitely appreciate you. Other than that, man, it is your boy John Quick of the Talk That Lingo crew. Taught that lingo very fast. You already know the vibes. I didn't plan to do a 2 hour long show, but that's just how the cookie crumble, man. I had to catch up from my other missed shows, man. Your boy is 30 years old now, man. Your boy is 30 years old. I'm happy that I'm 30. I can't wait for the next 30 plus years of my life to see what type of man I turn out to be. When I grow up, I want to be like all y'all, man. Make sure y'all like, make sure y'all subscribe. Be sure to subscribe. However you listening, however you consume this content, make sure you drop us a like. It's your boy John Quick. Taught that lingo crew. Taught that lingo very fast. You already know the vibes. We out of here. Go on, let's